Outbreak, thanks to 11 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Will it make Narset Cannon a better meme? Maybe. So, like, Narset doesn't beat hate cards. So, it'll make Narset better game 1. But post-board people have their hate cards more often. When the month Jeff switches to sub-only is the month you accidentally sub to someone else. Whoops. Well, welcome back, Pterodactyl. Good to have you. It took the spot of Chord. Gosh, I can't imagine cutting Chord, especially like, so this list today, I've cut the Coiling Oracles, and I've gone up a Wall of Roots, and I've gone to 3 Vendilion Clique in the main deck, which might be a lot of Clique, but that card's disruptive against combo, and against control, it like takes Terminus and disrupts the removal, so I think that's fine. Speaking of Terminus, Super with the very generous tier 3 resub as well. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Welcome back. I should probably give a TLDR on thoughts on Invitational from this weekend. I don't know. I have a hard time. I like wrote a series of tweets and then deleted them because I feel like I just really shouldn't comment on it, because I feel like if I say anything other than like a perfectly spectacle glowing review, I'm gonna get written off by a lot of people, and it's gonna get thrown in my face. And like I liked a lot of it, but there were parts I didn't like, and have feedback on the things that can improve. But I feel like I'm like not allowed to give feedback on that event specifically, so I think I'm just gonna skip doing so. Do I need another green source? I don't really need a third. I don't really need a third blue. I probably want third green more than third blue, and I don't really need a second white. I'm guessing not, but can you click in response to the miracle trigger to force a draw, stopping the... Yeah, that's exactly how it works, Davis. So the way miracle cards work is there's a miracle trigger which places the card on the stack, and then there's a miracle trigger that goes on the stack, and then the card doesn't actually get moved from their hand to the stack until after that trigger resolves. You can click them in response to that trigger to take the card away. I wanted to say I like your business model here on Twitch. You produce content, but it's not meant to be purely entertainment. It's a paid stream through the deck list, and that's an awesome idea and uniquely yours. Thanks for the content. Well, thanks for the support, Doxy, and the feedback. I don't think it's fair to say I invented the idea of doing donation deck lists, but I think it's definitely fair to argue that I helped perfect the system. So opponent is missing land drops here. So what do I want to do? So I have... This counts for 2 for Chord. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like I want to just cycle this Horizon Canopy, because I don't really want a Chord for 3. I don't have an Eternal Witness in my main deck, so that would be the only thing I'd want a Chord for 3 for. I missed my troop sub anniversary because I was on vacation and proposing to my fiance. I hope things went fantastic for you, AGH, and you had a great vacation. Have a sword to go with your shield. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna cycle this for now. I could also wait and just cast Vizier. Like, how much mana do I have? Like, next turn, if I cast Vizier, I'll have 3 mana left over to cast creatures underneath it. I kind of don't hate that. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna sit tight for now since they're missing on land drops and stuff. So, I guess I just play this land and pass now. I could get greedy and cycle this Horizon Canopy to, like, try and hit a creature underneath this island, but then they could path my Vizier in response, and I'd much rather hold up Restoration Angel. It was sweet to see Savitz make a deep run in the tournament this weekend. He made really good Magic content when he was streaming Magic. Hopefully his top 4 success brings him back from auto chess a little bit and has him start making some more Magic content. I think that would be great for the game. He's a really good content producer. Alright, so I think at this point, especially because they're stumbling, we're just on the beat them down plan. The London Mulligan rule doesn't take broad effect for a long time. Possibly ever. They name the Mulligan rules after specific places because that specific place is where they intend to test that Mulligan rule. Have I played auto chess? I have not. Do they have Supreme Verdict in their deck? Wow, we found the one person still playing Supreme Verdict in their deck. That's incredibly unfortunate. I don't have Trisagad. Thank you for the 8-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Alright, so what do I want to do here in response? D-Contest, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. Can I float 4 and chord after it resolves? Is that a thing? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's totally a thing. Alright, so they're not guaranteed dead, are they? Yeah, they are guaranteed dead, actually. So we float like this. Verdict happens. Glen comes back. And then, this pods into Kiki-Jiki, and I cast Resto from my hand. So we go get Vannifar. Do-do-do. 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 Get a little freaky Kiki up in here. Up in here. Up in here. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Alright, so Unified, I want Lark, I want Unified Will, I want Strategals Worth, I don't want Eldritch Evolution. I'm pretty confident I want Eidolon in this matchup, especially with all these clicks in the deck. Vendilion Clique makes Eidolon very good because the instant speed is fantastic. I don't think I want Scavenging Ooze against not just Sky. Random Night of Autumn seems fine. I think I want both Kiki-Jikis when I draw. Do I want both Kiki-Jikis? Maybe I don't want both Kiki-Jikis. Maybe I don't want both Kiki-Jikis. What do we think? Is cutting a Freaky Kiki unreasonable? I'm bringing in a Lark, which is another 5. I probably want. I guess I have 3 clicks now, so like if the one gets caught in my hand, I'm pretty likely to be able to cycle it out. Yeah, I think that's true, Edmain. I think I don't always need to combo in the Kiki draw as a bad draw most of the time. I think I agree with that. I don't think... Oh, I want Eternal Witness in this matchup. I definitely want that. Let's get that in my deck. Cutting a mana creature is probably not unreasonable here. Is it crazy to cut a 1-drop mana dork as opposed to a Wall of Roots? Part of me thinks that's not crazy. Someone talk to me about it. It's probably crazy. I should probably just cut the Wall of Roots. Yeah, look at my curve. Look at my curve. We're going to leave all 8 of these in here. I think especially with these extra clicks, I want all 8 of these. Yeah, I feel like there's an argument to be made just because, like, Wall of Roots gives you a really big mana advantage in a matchup like this, especially with all of our instant speed threats, because, like that game there, right? Like, it makes a mana on our turn and it makes a mana on their turn. That was ultimately why we won the game, is because I was able to make 2 mana over each turn cycle. So, this hand's mediocre, but not for the reason that you think. The thing that's awkward about this hand is the fact that we have 2 of our 5 basics in our opener, which tends to be really bad against the Path to Exile deck. So, generally speaking, you want your basics in your deck in a matchup like this. That way you can get ramp when they use their spot removal. Happy Monday, JRH. And that being said, this hand has a bunch of acceleration in it. So, Renegade Rallier is an accelerant, which is A+ excellent. So, I'm going to go ahead and grab a breeding pool here, and then we're going to go ahead and cast Renegade Rallier, which is a second piece of ramp. And then Glen plus Resto plus Clique here are all fantastical for sure. Definitely want to prioritize blue mana here. White, I really only need 1 copy of. Yeah, this is my favorite deck in Modern right now, and it is not close. It is a ton of fun. So, I could jam Glen here, but I kind of think I want to, like, check if the coast is clear first. The problem is, if I give them 1 more turn here, I open myself up to them having Cryptic Command for my Glen Elendra. And, like, they could have multiple Cryptics. The flip side of that is they showed us a Supreme Verdict last game in addition to Terminus. So, like, if I run the Glen out here, I could just get Supreme Verdicted. But I guess that's not that big of a deal, because if they Verdict me, my Glen persists back, and then I Resto Blink the Glen next turn. I think it's right to play the Glen here. Mana Leak isn't super common out of these blue-white control decks, and they currently can't Logic Nut it. The Being, thank you for the Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. You'll note that I tapped the Noble Hierarch here rather than my breeding pool because I want to still have blue mana up should my opponent cast Path in response. We did cut all of the hairs on top of my head. I was getting the coloring was like faded blonde and it was kind of nasty looking, and it was just getting long and straggly. I hope you're feeling better, Marty. I am letting the beard grow out, though. The beard still got the purple. They use a slightly different color on my beard than my hair. And I don't know if it's, like, the texture of my beard or what, but the beard color's definitely kept a lot better. Alright, and I think this is just, like, yeah, we are just, like, in full Motley Crue beatdown mode at this point. Like, they're down to 11. I've got, like, Resto, Clique, and, like, a counterspell now, plus Elendra. Snapcaster Mage. Huh. I wonder if it's crazy to... Unified Will this just because I want to keep the pressure on. I guess Vendilion Clique keeps the pressure on, though, and it saves me my Unified Will. So I guess I just let this happen. Morning, Julian. Let's take a peekaboo at what's going on over there. It's like, do we Cryptic into the Glen in play? Like, is that something that we want to do? Is that a fight we want to have? This does open this up. So playing the Clique does give them a chance to get my Glen off the table. So if they have like triple path here, I could be in trouble maybe. But I do like putting more flying power into play. Snapcaster, Logic Knot, Double Cryptic, Terminus. I think I just want to get rid of Snapcaster here. I'd prefer not to get pathed again this turn. Alright, so their hand is Cryptic, Logic Knot, Terminus. I think I just Resto here, right? Because the Resto's lethal. Yeah, they only have one card I don't know. Hey, Ed and Co. Thank you for the biddies. Hope you're having a good Monday. Are you dead yet? Smelling pretty dead. Hey, look at that. We started off the day beating our bad matchup. And it's worth noting the fact that we drew Vendilion Clique was useful there. So that was one of my hopes in adding more copies of Vendilion Clique, is that in theory it should make the fair matchups a little bit better, especially notably the Terminus matchup. I'm still not unconvinced that I think there's a chance I might want a Selfless Spirit in my 75 somewhere still. I think there's a chance I'd still want a Selfless Spirit in my 75 still. A couple people have been posting questions about my thoughts on War of the Spark. The trailer was awesome. I felt like two parts of my childhood were coming together, because it was like Magic the Gathering and Linkin Park were now like intertwined. And like, as someone who is a 90s child, I listened to a lot of Linkin Park growing up while playing Magic the Gathering. So it was like, it was well fit together today. Terminus tends to be really brutal ad main. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played against much Jeskai, but the couple of times I played against blue-white, it's felt really hard. Mainly because of Terminus. Pumo D, thank you for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, 10 out of 10, Sheriff. That should bump it up into tomorrow. Thanks for the support. I'm gonna keep this on the play. This might be a bad keep. You cannot see your previous season ranking. They'll post a final thing on Wizard site at some point. Hey, Trax, thanks for the host. Hope you had a fantastic morning. Mage Cub, thank you for the 8 months. I appreciate it. My thoughts after seeing cards from War of the Spark so far is the same as before we saw cards. I think a mid-range Planeswalker set seems awesome. I think there's going to be a bunch of mid-range Planeswalker decks that could never beat the card Wilderness Reclamation, so good luck, Godspeed. I think Wilderness Reclamation in conjunction with Expansion Explosion and Nexus of Fate basically invalidates the Planeswalker archetypes that people are going to want to play. So, hopefully I'm wrong on that, but the Magic Theory Craft says that those archetypes really punish the kind of mopey Planeswalker mid-range style things that looks like are going to be pushed in this format. Death Shadow is probably a bad matchup. Maybe. So this is another matchup that gets better with a bunch of 3-power flyers too, Admain. Yeah, Gorks, I was looking at that deck list and looking at the deck list and looking at the deck list, and I'm kind of at the point in the season where I'm just done playing worse versions of other things. So I did just turn it into Teamer Climb. Am I supposed to draw step? It wasn't good anyways. Okay, yep. I'm glad my gut was there. So, do I want to click now or do I want to click draw step? I think I want to click draw step and try and take their threat away. The new Teferi makes Reclamation even stronger. No? Yeah, probably. Yeah, they'll post something later on, Trax. Who knows when? All I know is you definitely can't see your rank in client. Alright, so they have infinite disruption because they're a Death Shadow deck. Oh, they can snap Thoughtseize. How does 3 free make Reclamation stronger? It lets you play more cards on their turn, so it makes the untapping of it better. It was a sad but fulfilling match is a good way to put it. I think I'm supposed to just take their Shadow here and just like hope they blank on a meaningful threat for a little bit. The rest of their hand is so much disruption. I guess I could have theoretically taken the Bolt, because if I take the Bolt, they don't currently have a way to kill this. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to take the Bolt there. I could see taking the Bolt being correct. I think I'm just gonna cast this as a gain 4. There's really no reason to like make it a 4/3 in the face of Snap Bolt. To answer your question, Jesse, we've been thrashing Tron with this deck. This deck has some meaningful disruption against Tron, and it has really fairly consistent quick kills. So I've been pretty happy with this deck in general and the matchups that are about racing. It's also possible that because they have the Thoughtseize in there, maybe I'm supposed to make this a 4/3 so that way I can attack it in situations like this. I don't know. Like I said earlier, someone said they think this match was probably hard. I think I'd agree with that assessment. I think we're probably the underdog here. That was a good draw, though, by the way. For anyone that was wondering, that was a good draw. One good draw deserves another. I'm going to decline this trade for now because I could draw Resto. Drawing Chord's another reason to decline it. Chef Seth with the big tip. Ooh, where's my dashboard? This is for Bant Garbage Time. I don't know what Bant Garbage Time refers to. Do I just go get Scavenging Ooze? I think I want a Chord now because I want their Stubborn Denial to not be live. Bant Eldrazi, got it. Can you DM me on Discord, Seth, reminding me that you donated today and what list it's for? So this gives them a heads up in case they wanted to bolt something, but I think it's right to just go get the skews here and, like, hope that they miss for a turn. I think it's correct to play around Stubborn Denial game 1 here, especially. They haven't played any of those yet. There's none in their graveyard. Morning, Anner. Happy Monday. All right, if Scoos untaps here, we're going to be in a pretty reasonable spot. I drew a third Snapcaster. I did 7 hours of Magic Online on Friday. 7 hours. I was here. There's proof on YouTube. Thursday I wasn't feeling well, ended up taking off, and then I did an extra long day on Friday. So we drew Podmom, they drew Fetchland plus Snapcaster. We drew Chord, they drew Snapcaster Mage. And overall, actually getting pretty punished for my decision to gain 4 life with the Knight of Autumn. I think that's worth pointing out. I had, like, gained 4 life because they had Snap Bolt, but then they just Snap Thought Seized me. So I think I should have made this a 4-3, and then I'd have been in a much better spot this game. This could be highway robbery here. This is a 4 power attacker. Might be time to call the police. We need them to not draw Inquisition of Qasali, because if they Inquisition me, they can flip the Jace plus the Jace on the click to make it not lethal. So we're looking to dodge Inquisition of Qasali here. And removal spell. So Inquisition and removal are the things we need them to not have. Been some good hits on both sides this game. Oh, they're not flipping the Jace. That's good for me. Alright, so if they don't have a removal spell in their hand, and they don't have a removal spell on top of their deck, they are dead. Oh, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this trade now. Just want to stop this bleeding a little bit. Alright, don't have a Lightning Bolt, or a Dismember, or a Terminate. And don't have one on top of your deck either. God, it's so brutal. Alright, let's draw another 3-power flying threat. Come on. 3-power flying threat. 3-power flying threat. We're dead. I think we're dead. Heading in the direction of dead. Man, their top decks have been good. We had so many. They're dead if they miss. They're dead if they miss. I just have it every time. Stuff beat. Nicholas Bolas, thank you for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. We're on the zero outer here, right? I think we're on the zero outer. I'm gonna move along with our time. Stop wasting it. Alright, Path sounds great. Eidolon sounds great. Witness sounds great. Lark sounds great. Eldritch Evolution is real bad against Stubborn Denial. Spellskite tends to be bad against... Colligan's Command. Should probably create a command for spoilers, too. I don't think this is a unified well matchup. Not only do they have counter spells of their own, but I think this matchup's more about playing to the board. Good morning, Jason. Thank you for the half year. I appreciate that. Weeb Army checking in with the very generous tier 3 resub and for the 12th month in a row. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Thank you, and welcome back. Yeah, that's a good succinct way to describe why Unified Will is bad. Their spells tend to be cheaper than Unified Will, which means it's trading down on mana a lot of the time, and their discard spells make it bad in addition to them having creatures like us sometimes. I do like that having a pile of Vendilion Cliques makes Eidolon better. And for those that don't understand that direct correlation on the surface, the reason why that's the case is because, what's the word I'm searching for? Is because having more instant speed cards means that we can still play 2 spells a turn, even with Eidolon out, just 1 on our turn and 1 on their turn. That's an A+ command, Marty. God bless. Yeah, this hand's good. And by good, I mean it has lands and spells, so you keep any hand with lands and spells against Thoughtseize, because magic. I will say this, one of the things that I'm most interested to see over the weekend is, you know, the Invitational had record viewer numbers, right, for Magic events. So it'll be interesting to see if any of those viewers are how many of them were new organic viewers that are, like, going to trickle into the Magic on Twitch ecosystem, and, like, how many were people watching on embedded adverts, not actually interested in Magic. So hopefully the weekend was a smashing success and stirred up more interest, and that's going to create more followers in the Magic section on Twitch in general. That's the overall goal, right? Get more people into the Magic ecosystem that are interested in it. It's hard to know exactly how many of those views were organic and how many were embedded stuff, though. Proliferate seems sweet. I really like the design space. I think talking about the thing I want to focus on in the spoilers rather than talking about power level, which I know is what a lot of people want, but you just can't really know the power level of these things until we know the format. The thing I'd like to focus on is the design space they're working in, and I think both Proliferate as the only way to push up Planeswalkers that only tick down, as well as Planeswalkers having static abilities, are both fantastic design spaces for them to be working in. So I think both of those are great directions to see them pushing in. Andronis, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. It is going to be Evergreen, Marty. So, I have decisions to make here. The problem with passing without... So, like, I'm pretty confident something's going to eat it this turn. I kind of get to decide what it is. I don't think I want to just play the Vannifar out. I think I'm going to pass and just plan to click them. It's a real shame I didn't hit a land this turn, because if I had hit a land, I could have played the Eidolon and then played click on their turn. I think jamming Pod Mom is super wrong here. I think just, like, playing this out into them doing nothing so far is wrong. And this is one of the reasons why Click is good in these fair matchups, because I get to play Click and see what's up and know, like, sculpt my game plan accordingly. Yeah, I agree, Sags. My standard deck queue's been acquiring new decks at a slowed rate, which makes sense for this point in the season. And if that continues to be the case, the week before War of the Spark releases, I might do a much lighter stream week. Or, like, do double Modern in those mornings or something like that. I think I just leave them all of these. Actually, I should take... Okay, so... I should probably take the Sleight of Hand, right? Because this Inquisition doesn't take my Pod Mom. Sleight of Hand gives them 2 looks at finding something meaningful. So I think I take Sleight of Hand because this only gives them 1 look at something meaningful now. And then they get... So my next turn, I play Pod Mom. And then they have this click draw plus a draw step to find a way to kill her or a bird, or they're dead. So I think it's right to take the Sleight of Hand because it gives them 1 less draw. And then I jam Vannifar here on my next turn, and then I get a chance to kill them in 2 turns. Which is, again, why Vendilion Clique seems really good in these fair matchups. It's allowing me to sculpt my game plan and give myself the best chance to get them. Can we kill them without the Bellringer? Yeah, by casting Eidolon we can. Or by casting Chord of Calling. Also, the fact that they have this Disdainful Stroke in hand makes not jamming the Prime Speaker the previous turn super correct. This is another good card to know about to, like, have on my radar, especially if we go to a game 3. Just, like, they'll, like, be able to look at their hand and go, oh, they have 2 mana, they could have a Disdainful Stroke up here. Sounds like opponent's going fishing. Alright, so we gotta fade 2 draws. Well, that was one of their draws. It's Flooded Strand. God bless America. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of the I sing. Magic's frustrating sometimes. And that's the other thing. There actually aren't that many things they have that actually kill that. Maybe I was supposed to cycle this Horizon Canopy at end of turn. Maybe I was supposed to cycle this Horizon Canopy at end of turn. I think that's a possibility. And I think the Disdainful Stroke probably locks us out here. I don't know if there's anything really meaningful I could do. They have another shock land in their hand. So their hand right now is Disdainful Stroke plus Polluted Delta because they played sloppy and played the fetch land that I didn't know about. I think we're just dead at this point. I'm not gonna have time to play through Disdainful Stroke. We needed them to not draw a removal spell in those two draws that we talked about, and they did, so we died. Welcome to Magic. Sometimes they draw the cards they need. Let's roll along to the next one. And that matchup felt hard, but like both games, right? We were in positions where it's just like, and this is why it's so very important to like be able to like step back and like not just look at the result of the game the match that you played, but like think about why it went the way it did. Like we had 2 games in a row there where it's like, well, if they don't have a removal spell on this draw, they lose, and then like 2 games in a row they hit the removal spell and you died. So it's like, it's very easy to go, oh, this feels impossible. When you step back and go in reality, it's like, oh, this actually probably isn't that bad. Those are 2 incredibly close games. Ready to get a little frisky, Noble Hierarch? Get into that red zone. What's going on, Admiral? Good morning. Ooh, that's scary. So, Curator of Mystery Cycle implies that my opponent is playing, implies that my opponent is playing an As Foretold Living End deck, which means this Glen Elendra is hopefully about to be very good. And by that I mean we're going to get remanded, they're going to untap and wrath our board, and we'll concede. We actually played the opponent's deck on Friday. Their deck is very bad, but it's probably very good against the Birds of Paradise deck. I feel like Shadow is one of those matchups where we're always going to have a hard time winning, except we don't radically alter our list by adding more grindy cards. I mean, grindy cards don't really beat Shadow. Did you watch those games that we just played? Like, we lost those games. Yeah, I'm just not going to play this matchup. It's like the opponent's deck's like tier 3 garbage, and like I'm not playing my tier 3 garbage against their tier 3 garbage. I don't care about that matchup. It's not meaningful for whether or not I want to play this deck or know how it plays out. And that's one of the big things that you need to learn as you play Modern, is that Modern has a lot of very polarizing matchups in it, and you either have to like slog through them and be kind of miserable, or just like go, well, my tier 4 deck can't beat their tier 4 deck, I'm just gonna like move on to the next one, rather than sit here and be like, oh no, they had the remand and the living end and the As Foretold and everything went perfect, blah blah blah. It's just like, nah, just like go to the next match. I think Voice of Resurgence is an unplayable piece of garbage. I think Voice of Resurgence was almost playable once upon a time, and now all the control decks where Voice used to be good either now have Terminus or Anger of the Gods, so you should just take your Voice of Resurgences and tear them up and throw them in the garbage can. I've been pretty happy with the Vendilion Cliques. The Coiling Oracles were kind of middling, and I've been pretty happy with the pile of Cliques we're playing today. Stream Decker does not work, JPaz. That's why it's not enabled. It's one of the many reasons why Magic Online is inaccessible and unwatchable, because it doesn't have an extension like Arena does, unfortunately. And for a small jargon actually type thing, Stream Decker does work with... Stream Decker specifically does work with this application. Stream Decker refers to the thing that puts the deck list on the screen. It's called Deck Master is the thing that puts, what's it called? So my opponent has a Dark Blast against my handful of a bunch of 1 toughness things. Amora, thanks for the tip. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. What are your thoughts on Duo, Best of 1, Best of 3? Would they ever bring that to Modern? I love the channel and your opinion on tough subjects. I think Duo Standard, I did not enjoy watching Duo Standard this weekend. In fact, I would, to give you a strong opinion on things, the Esper mirror matches in Duo Standard that I watched this weekend would easily be in contention for some of the worst matches of Magic I have ever seen played. There were a lot of, well, this player drew a lot of cast downs, or this player drew a lot of Kaya's Wraths and Mortifies. They didn't really have a lot of meaningful decisions, so they drew the wrong half of their deck. There was a lot of, well, they don't get to pick which deck they're playing first here, so if the matchup goes like this player's incredibly likely to win or incredibly likely to lose, vice versa. It didn't feel to me like Duo Standard gave the people playing a lot of what I would refer to as player agency. It didn't feel like the players were offered the ability to make meaningful decisions in a lot of positions where they would otherwise have a much better shot if they were playing traditional best of 3 with sideboards. I think it's good that they want to explore new formats, but I did not think Duo Standard felt like it made for a good viewing experience. And it's tough too, right? Because the event this weekend had absurd viewership, but I think the viewership, thanks to the biddies, Colin, I think the viewership was destined to be good regardless of what format they did because Arena is just so awesome, right? Like, Arena is this amazing piece of Magic software that many of us have been waiting for a long time. I mean, Marshall Sutcliffe literally referred to Duo Standard as rock, paper, scissors in the preview article for the event. So, like, literally called it rock, paper, scissors, like called a spade in the article describing the event. So, you know, take that for what you will. What was I going to say? I think it's a good thing if they want to explore other formats, especially if they want to try and appeal to people who enjoy best of 1. But I think the Duo Standard that they did this past weekend was worse than trying to mimic Hearthstone's Conquest format or trying to mimic Hearthstone's new Specialist format. I think traditional best of 3 with sideboards, something based on Conquest or something based on the Specialist form, I think any of those would likely play out better than Duo Standard ended up playing out. All right, so Chord of Calling is lethal here. It's another land, you know, another land, Chord of Calling, very similar, very similar. So, the big reason that so here, obviously, this is pure speculation. I have no insider information, but as someone who has a lot of experience in stuff like this and like making Magic content, my estimation would be that they chose to try something like Duo Standard because a majority of making Magic content is about what's referred to as experience emulation. So most people watch Magic content and TCG content to look at something and see something that they then want to take home and implement themselves. So from an experience emulation perspective, it makes sense to have a format that you can play best of 1 decks in because most of your players on Arena are playing best of 1. But from a tournament perspective, you want players to have less variance than straight best of one. So like Duo Standard was this best of 3 with best of 1 decks, basically. So that way people watching could take those decks and easily transport them to best of 1 in Arena. It's actually so, people who may or may not, I don't actually play much Hearthstone, but I like follow what they do. And from my understanding, I actually think mimicking Hearthstone's specialist format is a really elegant solution to what they're trying to do. So for people that don't follow Hearthstone, what their specialist format is you submit a deck and then you submit other copies of that deck within X cards. I think X is 10 cards. So you don't technically have a sideboard, but you have variations of the same archetype that are better positioned in certain matchups. And from a coverage perspective, sideboard, is it 5 cards? 5 cards sounds right. I believe you that is 5 cards. From a coverage perspective, it is appealing to not have to worry about sideboarding, because while sideboarding adds a lot of strategy, listen to them talk about sideboarding in any given event. Sideboarding, you often have them talking about, well, they might do this or they could do that. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding sideboard. So it's not even just the duration of players sideboarding so much as it's the uncertainty. So the specialist format that Hearthstone's talked about would allow the casters to talk with a lot more certainty about what's going on, basically, which is very, very interesting in my opinion. How do we win? I only have 6 power. How do we win? That's true. With Arena, we could watch them sideboard. That's also very true. Man, it's unfortunate that card's not castable, huh? Am I dead? I think I'm dead, right? We have waited with Click and clicked ourselves. Our draw step was a dud. That's a good comment. Yeah, we're dead here. But what's my next card? My next card's an evolution. I actually punted. Chord also does it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so Chord or evolution and I win. Yeah, okay, so sweet. That's a fantastic point out there, Digital. And again, that's why it's important to focus on like what happened and why you had your results rather than just the number. So if I play this Click correctly, so I was focused on attacking, but I actually can't attack for lethal here, so I should have held the Click, so that way if I draw a spell that's a blank, I can click into Eldritch Evolution or Chord of Calling and combo kill them. So with a slightly better line there at the very end, I win that game. Alright, what are we doing here? So Remorseful Cleric's great. Gaddock Teeg's actually very good in this matchup because he stops the opponent from casting Conflagrate, which is very good against us. I think this seems reasonable. Maybe I don't want this Glen Elendra. Although I guess she stops Conflag, but that's probably too expensive in terms of stopping Conflag. I'm going to leave a knight in, so I have a way to gain 4. I don't think I want Unified Will or Path in this matchup. I think that's not the axis I want to fight on. Okay, I think I'd rather just, like, have Scavenging Ooze and combo kills. Hey, Quillman. Sorry, I think I missed that right on point. Thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. This hand's not amazing, but it's fine. That last game was incredibly close, especially considering my opponent had Dark Blast on too. Although their draw was also kind of slow and clunky, so we had some awkwardness because their Dark Blast was very good against us, and they had some awkwardness with just their draw in general. And ultimately, I punted at the end there. That is an incredible draw. Wall of Roots is so good with Scavenging Ooze, just like unreasonably so. So next turn, I get to evolve Noble Hierarch into Scavenging Ooze, and then I get to eat 3 things. 4 things if I draw a land. While they took a draw step for the turns, they must have been missing their second land. No Narcomoeba here is absurd for us, because it means I get to eat their prized amalgams now. Wow, that's free technically, huh? It's not a land drop, but it'll do, pig. Oh, you know? So, all right, so let's look at their graveyard here and really think about what's going on. Because I've got 3 eats here. There's a couple different angles we can play this from. I think I start by just passing here, and we see what they dredge into. Because if they dredge into a Conflagrate, I need to exile that. So both these Wall of Roots can make mana each turn cycle. All right, so there's no Conflagrate. There's no Conflagrate. So what'd they dredge? They dredged Golgari Thug. What if I eat Narcomoeba and eat their Bloodghast? The problem with that is they get to Faithless Looting, dredge into more things. So I think my plan here is actually eat the prized amalgams because those represent the biggest threat. So I think I just let Narcomoeba happen here. Hey, Trousers, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So the amalgams don't come in until the end step, so I can let those chill for a minute. So I think I could try and stop the amalgams from coming into play, but I think it's pretty likely that they come into play regardless. So I think I'm okay with that. And like, if I get to untap with the Scavenging Ooze, their graveyard is done. All right, now I am going to go ahead and eat this Bloodghast the way things have played out. Howdy, Tom. Life is swell. You a Shriekhorn and enjoy. Scooz is a hungry boy, chat. He is. Nom nomin. So, how do we feel about just Chord? How do we feel about Chord for Tormod's Crypt? We have the Spirit in our deck. Is that crazy? Yeah, it's probably unnecessary. I probably just want to go ham with these. Actually, that is silly. That is silly. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're just conceding. So like, I could just resto untap Kiki is probably the line. Yeah, that's definitely the line. It's attack with Scooz and then resto untap Kiki. My opponent is concluding that Wall of Roots powered Scavenging Ooze is better than their deck, which I agree with. All right, so we won that game. We could have won the first game with slightly better play. Let's try and play well in the third game here. See how things go. I'm gonna keep this. Listen, Austin, you know what your name is, don't you? Don't you try and tell me your name is something it's not. You want your username to be pronounced Austin, you better spell it differently. That's all I'm saying. What match? This is match 4. Conflagrate is real annoying. Let's do this. Lightning Axe. That's brutal. J Boz, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This is good. Getting dumpster this morning. I was still entertaining the idea of trying to drive to Columbus this weekend. I think we're solidly off that. Modern. OmniZ! Checking in for the 23rd month in a row. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, so I think I fetch a basic forest here and then Rallier back this Wall of Roots. In your copious amounts of free time, could you look into improving the contrast for usernames in video chat? I do most of my consumption and have a very hard time seeing who says that. Colorblindness likely doesn't help. Unfortunately, I don't. People on Twitch pick their own color for their usernames. And honestly, the themes that Streamlabs provides for the chat overlay don't really. I like either have to choose between like having the screen names, the text of the message be legible or the screen names be legible. There aren't really any themes where both is true. I keep telling people they aren't allowed to submit pronunciation guides until their 2-year anniversary. If Punchworthy had to be Larynx for 2 years, y'all could put up with it as well. Tom, I understand what I'm talking about. That's the widget that I'm using on screen is different than your Twitch chat box. No, the tool for OBS doesn't have any tools specific to editing CCS. I'm not a web developer. There might be something I could do with custom CCS, but I don't have any certainty with that. So rather than spitting speculation at me, if someone has a concrete way to change, that sounds great. Let me know. Otherwise, I'd appreciate it. People just stop telling me to look for things that I've already looked for. Please and thank you. I think we're dead here. I guess I could Spellskite plus Deputy of Detention, these prized amalgams. I don't know if that leads to a winning line, though. How's Conflagrate worded? Yeah, Ranger blocks amalgam. So I can technically put Podmom plus Spellskite into play here, and maybe they mess that up. Awesome, Zombie. Glad to hear it. Well, I can Evo for Scooze, sure, but like, what does Scavenging Ooze do on this board? Basically, is the question. Like, how is that helping me win the game? So, like, that's a line, that's a thing I'm allowed to do, but, like, how does it actually win the game? Like, there's 2 Conflagrates in their bin at the moment. I could go get a Gaddock Teeg. That blocks and locks them out of Conflagrate. And again, doesn't really accomplish anything, though. I have 5 mana total with a 6th on their turn. I think our only line here is hoping they punt. Which I punted game 1, so maybe they mess it up. So, Narcomoeba in the middle of their board. This is a priced amalgam. The problem is we just don't survive combat, right? Yeah, I'm going to concede. So, we could have won the first game with better play. And I don't think there was a whole lot we could do here. I maybe could have mulliganed my opening hand. Yeah, maybe a hand without a quick Spirit or Scavenging Ooze on the draw wasn't good enough. They also just, like, Lightning Axe my first play on 2, so it probably just didn't matter there. I don't think we had any meaningful decisions I could have made differently in game 3 there, but I definitely messed up the first game. Like, we had a line to play to take it out, and then we would have hit the out if I'd have played to it. Oh, Hallowed Fountain, you and I have a tense relationship. You and I have a tense relationship, Hallowed Fountain. Wonder if that just shouldn't be in my deck. There's a chance it shouldn't be in my deck. Your hands without green mana aren't keepable. They discarded a Blood Moon. Alright. Probably saving that one to fetch a basic. They could just be like Mardu Pyromancer. Basic Forest. Go. Side Tech, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. You're having a fantastic day. My opponent discarded Griselbrand on that Faithless Looting and a Temple of Malice. Are they playing Griselbrand with main deck Blood Moons? They definitely shouldn't have showed me this. That's going to impact how I sideboard. Good news is we'll be able to cast Kiki-Jiki in this matchup. Oh, there's probably a good chance they board out Blood Moons against our Mana Dork deck. What defines a deck being a tribal? Tribal refers to a deck playing a creature theme. So like Merfolk is a tribal deck. Humans is a tribal deck. A tribe refers to a creature type that your deck is focused on. Alright, what do we want to do here? I don't know exactly what they're doing. Maybe I don't want these extra knights. Trim Chord of Calling. This is probably a beep beep go fast matchup. I don't know if it's a unified will matchup or not. It might be a unified will matchup. Still don't know 100% what they're doing. Maybe I'd rather hedge these instead of Teeg. I bring in 2 of these. I don't know exactly what they're doing yet. I think it's Griselbrand with main deck. Main deck Blood Moon. I think Elves is significantly better than Merfolk. If you look on my Cool Stuff Inc. articles from last year, one of my Elf articles on there includes a budget mana base. Bolas plus Pirate Jace. It doesn't sound particularly good. Opponent discarded Nourishing Shoal and Worm, so that kind of confirms that they're just Griselbrand with Blood Moon for me. Yeah, I didn't know if they were a prison deck or like what the deal was. So like obviously if they're Griselbrand, we definitely want Gaddock Teeg. They just like we just like killed them before we really knew what was going on. And then my opponent saw a Remorseful Cleric and conceded. Alright. Oh, Modern. So, reflecting back on our league, we dumpstered blue-white pretty handily. We had two games in a row against Death Shadow where we needed them to not draw a removal spell to kill them, and they drew removal spells both times. We conceded a match to blue-red Electro Living End because that's really hard for us, and that's not really a deck, so I didn't really want to play against it. I punted a game 1 to Dredge, won game 2 pretty handily, and then lost to game 3 with nothing we could really do. And then we just beat Griselbrand. So, like, again, just, like, reflecting on why your results were what they are instead of just focusing on the results themselves. Like, that's a league where the result is 2-3, but one was a match I just didn't want to play. One was 2 really close games in a row, and the third one is, like, a loss that would have been a win with, like, 1 different line. Is basically what it comes down to. Gengar, you can submit build-around decks for the new set right now. So, build-around submissions are open because spoiler season has started. So, I won't be accepting specific deck lists just yet. So, like, if you want to submit a 75-card deck list, I'm not accepting those until the full spoiler's done. But build-around submissions, I'll start taking now. To wrap up on this before we dive into Standard, I think I was happy with the pile of Vendilion Cliques in my deck. What do you think of Griselbrand going forward? I think here's the thing. This is my takeaway on the London Mulligan until I'm proven otherwise. The impact from the London Mulligan is that all good decks will get better, and the decks that are really impacted negatively by the London Mulligan are the decks that were already bad, that were only kind of successful because they're winning matches when their opponents didn't play Magic. So all reasonable decks stay reasonable, and bad decks get worse. So it sounds like a great change. It sounds like it's going to reduce the amount of non-games that Magic has, so that's only going to hurt decks that are trying to exist based on the existence of those non-games. All right. Anywho, I think my takeaway is I was happy with the click. I love Wall of Roots is just really good, even if it is bugged on Magic Online. So I think I was happy with the 75, and I'm probably going to update the website list to match this when I'm all done today. Although I'm running super long today, so it's not going to be updated for a little while. I had someone pay for a sideboard guide for this archetype, so I'll probably write the sideboard guide with the 75. I think is probably what I'm going to do also. All right, video games. Video games. I think it's time for video games. Wow, hello there. Thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Fairy Pod